In this video, we're going to talk about how to classify systems of linear equations. So when you solve a system of equations, one way to solve them is by graphing. So based on how the graph looks, there are three possibilities when you're solving systems of equations. The first possibility is that the lines will intersect. So when they intersect, that one point where they intersect will be the solution to the system of equations. So this system of equations will have exactly one solution. The other possibility you can get is you can get two parallel lines. So when you get parallel lines, there are no solutions to the system of equations because remember that parallel lines will never intersect. The third possibility you can have is that the lines will end up being the same. I know this looks like there's one line on this graph, but actually if you have two lines that are exactly the same graphed on a grid, they will overlap everywhere, so that is why there will be infinite solutions to this system of equation. Because if you think about it, every point that's on both lines will actually be a solution. So let's look at this graph here. So how many solutions does this system of equations have? Well, you can see in this graph I have two parallel lines, so they will never intersect. So that means there are no solutions to this system of equations. So what about this system of equations? Notice that they do have exactly one intersection point, right? They exactly intersect at one point, so this system will have one solution. So this system of equations, we have two equations, right? We have x plus y equals 2 and 2x plus 2y equals 4 graphed on the grid. But notice that they look like the same line, right? That is because they are exactly the same line. So that's why they will have infinite solutions, because every point that is on both lines will be a solution to the system. So based on these graphs, let's classify how many solutions each of these systems have. So in this first graph, notice that they intersect at exactly one point, so there will be one solution to this system of equations. Notice that in graph 2, we have two parallel lines, so they will never intersect. So we have no solution to this system of equations. In graph 3, we have a line that's the red dotted line and the blue line, but notice that they always overlap. So that is why this system will have infinite solutions. So let's solve and classify the system of equations by graphing. Remember that when we're graphing systems of equations, we need to have our equations in y equals mx plus b form. So that's going to be the first step. I'm going to take each of these equations and I'm going to rearrange them into y equals mx plus b form. So I take negative 2x plus y equals 3, and I need to move away the 2x in order to get y by itself. Because remember, that's what happens in slope-intercept form. The y is by itself. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So when I do that, on the left side, I'll be left with y. And then on the right side, I have 2x plus 3. So this is now in slope-intercept form. So my m is 2, my b is 3. So if I'm going to graph this line, I'm going to go to b, which is 3, and put my y-intercept there. My slope, which is m, is 2, which remember is 2 over 1. So I'm going to go up 2 and then right 1. So from here, I go up 1, 2, right 1, and plot my second point. So now I can connect these 2 points to form the graph of my line. Now I need to graph 4x minus 2y equals 8. Once again, I need to put my equation in slope-intercept form. So I have 4x minus 2y equals 8. I'm going to start off, this is a positive 4x, so I'm going to do the opposite and subtract 4x from both sides to move it away. So on the left side, I have negative 2y equals negative 4x and then plus 8. Now to get y by itself, I need to divide every single term in my equation by negative 2. So when I do that on the left, negative 2 and negative 2 cancel. So I have y equals negative 4 divided by negative 2, which is positive 2. And then I have x, and then I have plus 8 over negative 2. So that plus 8 is kind of like a positive 8, right? So I have positive 8 over negative 2. Positive over negative is going to leave me with minus 4. So once again, my m is 2, and my b is negative 4. So I'm going to go to negative 4 and put my y-intercept there. My slope, which is 2, is 2 over 1. So I'm going to go up 2, and then I'm going to go right 1. So I go up 2, right 1, and plot my next point. And when I connect these points, I can form the graph of my line. Notice that these will be two parallel lines, right? So I have parallel lines, so there will be no solution because these lines will never intersect. You may have already predicted that these are going to be parallel lines based on the equations, because if you remember back from the last unit, if the slope is the same, notice that both of these have a slope of 2, the lines will be parallel. So that's something that you may remember. So remember, in summary, to classify systems, if the lines intersect at exactly one point, there's one solution to the system of equations. If the lines are parallel and they will never intersect, then there are no solutions to the system of equations. If the two lines are exactly the same, there are infinite solutions because every point that is on both lines will be a solution to the system.